If your legs don't feel like they used to, heavier, when you walk shaky, when you stand up weaker on stairs, please don't ignore it. Because for many adults over 60, this can be one of the first quiet signs that something deeper is changing inside the body. Most people are told it's just age or that they simply need more exercise, but that's not always the full story. In many cases, leg weakness begins long before people understand what's really causing it, and it often has less to do with laziness or willpower than with hidden changes in circulation, metabolism, and the signals between nerves and muscles. That's why it can feel so unsettling. Stairs seem steeper. Getting out of a chair takes more effort. A short walk leaves your legs tired. You start being more careful in parking lots, on curbs, even in the shower. And little by little, it's not just your legs that feel weaker, it's your confidence, your independence, your trust in your own body. But here's the good news. There are 6 simple foods, affordable, easy to find, and available in almost any grocery store that may help support the systems your legs depend on to stay strong and steady. In this video, I'll show you what those 6 foods are, why they matter after 60, and how to use them in a simple way that may help you feel stronger, more stable, and more confident on your feet again. And the solution may be far simpler than you've been led to believe. The real problem is this: why legs often weaken first. Before I give you the 6 foods you need to understand what may actually be going wrong inside your body, because once you see this clearly, everything else starts to make more sense. Most people, and honestly many doctors, treat leg weakness in seniors as a simple equation. You're getting older, you're less active, your muscles are shrinking, move more. That's the advice. But that advice can miss something important, because leg weakness after 60 is often not just a muscle problem. It is also a metabolic problem. Your metabolism is the system that delivers energy, nutrients, and repair signals to your muscles. And after 60, that system may begin to break down in 4 specific ways, and your legs are often the first to suffer. Let me explain each one. 1. Breakdown is circulation. Your legs are the farthest major muscles from your heart. They sit at the very end of your circulatory system, the last stop on the delivery route. When you were younger, your blood vessels were more flexible, more open, and better able to deliver oxygen-rich blood all the way down to your calves and feet. But after 60, blood vessels can begin to stiffen. A molecule called nitric oxide, the molecule that helps blood vessels relax and open, may also decline significantly with age. Some research suggests that by age 70, nitric oxide availability may be much lower than it was in younger years. Think of your circulatory system like an irrigation network in a garden. If the water pressure drops, which plants wilt first? The ones at the very end of the hose. That's your legs. When blood flow to your legs declines, your muscles receive less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and waste products are cleared less efficiently. The result is that your legs may feel heavy. They tire quickly. They ache after short walks, and over time they may slowly lose mass, not simply because you are not using them, but because they may not be getting what they need to maintain themselves. 2. Breakdown is insulin resistance. Now this one surprises most people because they associate insulin with diabetes, not with leg strength. But insulin plays a critical role in muscle maintenance that almost nobody talks about. Insulin is like a key that opens the gates of your muscle cells. When those gates are open, amino acids, glucose, and minerals flow in. These are the raw materials your muscles need to repair and rebuild after every day of use. But when insulin resistance develops, and it is very common after 60, even in people who are not diabetic, those gates start jamming. The key does not turn properly anymore. Nutrients arrive at your muscle cells, but they do not get in as efficiently as they should. Imagine a construction site where trucks full of building materials pull up every morning, but the gate is locked and nobody has the key. The materials sit outside. Nothing gets built. The building deteriorates. Here's the critical detail. Your leg muscles are among the most insulin-sensitive muscle groups in the body. They depend heavily on insulin signaling. So when resistance develops, your legs may feel it early. Your thighs, your glutes, your calves, they can begin to shrink not only from disuse, but also from nutrient lockout. 3. Breakdown is chronic inflammation. After decades of life, most people over 60 carry some degree of low-grade chronic inflammation. It is so common that researchers have given it a name: inflammation. You cannot feel it the way you feel a sprained ankle. It is silent, but it is there circulating in your blood and affecting the tissues it touches. And it can be especially destructive to one type of muscle fiber, your fast twitch fibers. These are the fibers responsible for power quick movements, catching yourself when you stumble, and standing up from a chair. They are concentrated heavily in your legs. Think of your muscles like a high-performance engine. Chronic inflammation is like sand in the oil. The engine still runs, but it is grinding. It is less responsive. It wears out faster. And critically, the body's repair system, the satellite cells that act like stem cells for muscle, can be suppressed by inflammation. Your muscles may break down at the same rate, but they do not rebuild fast enough. That is why your legs can feel weaker even when you are still active. The repair crew has been sent home. 4. Breakdown is magnesium depletion. This one is arguably the most overlooked and often one of the most immediately noticeable when you address it. Every muscle contraction in your body requires two minerals working in partnership. Calcium triggers the contraction. Magnesium helps trigger relaxation. Without enough magnesium, your muscles cannot fully relax after each contraction. They stay partially tightened. They fatigue faster. They cramp. They become stiff and uncoordinated. Think of the electrical wiring in a building. If the wiring is faulty, the lights flicker. They do not go out entirely. They just become unreliable. That is what magnesium deficiency can do to your legs. The signals between your nerves and muscles become less reliable. Your balance suffers. Your reaction time slows. Your risk of falling increases. Not necessarily because your legs are weak, but because they may be misfiring. And here's the problem. Magnesium absorption declines significantly after 60. Even if you are eating the same diet you have always eaten, you may be absorbing less of it. Studies suggest that many older adults are not getting adequate magnesium. So let me summarize what may be happening. Your legs may be weakening because of 4 interconnected metabolic breakdowns: reduced blood flow, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and magnesium depletion. Not one cause. 4 causes working together and compounding each other. This is why just exercising more is not always enough on its own. You cannot exercise your way out of nutrient lockout. You cannot walk your way past poor circulation. You need to support the underlying systems first. Then movement becomes much more effective. That is exactly what these 6 foods are meant to help with. Each one targets one or more of these 4 breakdowns. Together they may help address the problem more completely. Let's go through them one by one. 1. Food is beets, and specifically what makes beets one of the most useful foods for supporting leg strength in people over 60. Beets are extraordinarily rich in natural compounds called dietary nitrates. When you eat beets, these nitrates are converted in your body into nitric oxide, the molecule I mentioned earlier that helps your blood vessels relax, widen, and allow more blood to flow through. Remember the irrigation analogy. The hose to your legs has been pinched shut. Beets may help open that hose back up. And the research on this is impressive. Studies published in major physiology journals have shown that dietary nitrate from beets can improve exercise endurance in older adults, in some cases by up to 16%. Not because it builds muscle directly, but because it may increase oxygen delivery to muscles that were being underserved. When your leg muscles receive more of the oxygen they have been missing, they can work harder, recover faster, and maintain themselves more effectively. But there is another layer to beets that most people do not know about. Beets contain compounds called beta-lanes, the pigments that give them that deep red color. Beta-lanes are potent antioxidants that help reduce oxidative stress inside muscle cells. They may help clean up the cellular damage caused by inflammation and poor circulation. Think of them as a cleanup crew arriving alongside the fresh oxygen delivery. And here's a bonus. Beets have also been shown to improve something called endothelial insulin sensitivity. That means they may help the lining of your blood vessels respond better to insulin, which can improve nutrient delivery to muscles. So beets are not just helping with problem 1, they may be helping with problem 2 as well. How do you use them? Half a cup to 1 cup of cooked beets daily, or a small glass of unsweetened beet juice. Ideally, take them at midday or before physical activity, walking, gardening, whatever you do. One important note, avoid using antibacterial mouthwash right before or after. The bacteria in your mouth are actually part of the nitrate to nitric oxide conversion process. Mouthwash can kill those bacteria and reduce the effect significantly. It is a detail almost nobody talks about. 2. Food is berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, any and all of them. Most people think of berries as a healthy snack, good antioxidants, nice in a smoothie. But berries may do something for your legs that goes beyond general health. They directly support insulin sensitivity in muscle tissue. Here's how. Berries contain high concentrations of compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue, red, and purple colors. Anthocyanins have been shown in clinical research to improve insulin signaling inside muscle cells. They activate pathways that increase the number of glucose transporters, tiny doorways that allow glucose and amino acids to enter the cell. Remember the construction site analogy. The gate is jammed and nutrients cannot get in. Anthocyanins help unjam that gate. They do not replace insulin. They help the insulin you already have work better. They essentially restore sensitivity to cells that had become resistant. And this matters enormously for your legs. Because when glucose can flow into your leg muscle cells again, 2 things happen. First, your muscles have fuel, the raw energy they need to contract, to carry you upstairs and to stabilize you on uneven ground. Second, amino acids can follow the glucose in, and amino acids are what your muscles use to repair damage and build new tissue. Without those amino acids getting through the gate, your muscles may break down faster than they rebuild. That is one of the core mechanisms behind age-related muscle loss in the legs, and berries may help counteract it. But there is a third benefit that adds to the first 2. Anthocyanins have also been shown to enhance mitochondrial function, the energy-producing factories inside your cells. Better mitochondria can mean more sustained energy output from each muscle fiber, less fatigue, more endurance, greater strength per contraction. How do you use them? A small handful daily, roughly half a cup, fresh or frozen. Frozen berries are actually excellent because they are picked and frozen at peak ripeness, which helps preserve the anthocyanin content. Eat them with or immediately after a meal that contains protein. The combination of berries plus protein can create a strong insulin-sensitizing effect that helps your muscles absorb the amino acids from that meal more effectively. One thing to avoid, do not pair them with ultra-processed sugary foods. Added sugar can counteract the insulin-sensitizing benefits and overwhelm the very pathway you are trying to repair. 3. Food is extra virgin olive oil. And if you take away only one thing from this section, let it be this. Olive oil is not just a cooking fat. It may be one of the most useful anti-inflammatory foods you can add to your routine. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal. You may have noticed that high-quality olive oil has a slight peppery bite at the back of your throat. That is the oleocanthal. Researchers discovered something interesting about it. Oleocanthal appears to affect inflammatory enzymes in a way that is similar to low-dose ibuprofen. That does not mean olive oil is a replacement for medication, but it does help explain why it has such strong anti-inflammatory potential. Now, why does this matter for your legs? Remember the third metabolic breakdown, chronic inflammation quietly damaging your fast-twitch muscle fibers and suppressing your muscle repair system. Oleocanthal may help calm that process. It may reduce the inflammatory signals that tell your muscles to break down. In simple terms, it may send a message to your muscle tissue that says it is safe to repair now. Start rebuilding. When inflammation drops your satellite cells, those muscle stem cells I mentioned can reactivate. Repair begins again. The fast-twitch fibers that control your power, your balance, and your ability to catch yourself from a fall may begin to recover. And olive oil does something else for your legs that connects back to circulation. It supports endothelial function, which is the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. When your endothelium is healthier, blood vessels dilate more easily, blood flows more freely, and your legs receive better nutrient and oxygen delivery. So olive oil may be helping with both problem 1 and problem 3 at the same time. How do you use it? 1 to 2 tablespoons daily raw or very gently warmed. Drizzle it over vegetables, eggs, legumes, or any protein. The key is to consume it raw or at low heat. High heat cooking can damage oleocanthal and many of the beneficial polyphenols. Look for olive oil that has that peppery, slightly bitter taste. That is often a sign that the oleocanthal is present. Cheap, bland olive oil is often over-processed and may have lost much of its anti-inflammatory potential. One more thing, consider replacing some industrial seed oils in your kitchen. Oils like vegetable oil, sunflower oil, and some highly refined canola oils can be high in omega-6 fatty acids, and in some diets, excess omega-6 intake may contribute to inflammation. Switching to olive oil is not just about adding something beneficial. It may also help reduce something less helpful. 4. Food is pumpkin seeds. These are here specifically to address that fourth metabolic breakdown, magnesium depletion, and the electrical misfiring in your leg muscles. Pumpkin seeds are one of the most magnesium-dense foods in nature. A single tablespoon provides a meaningful dose of magnesium in a form your body recognizes and absorbs efficiently. And this matters far more than most people realize. Let me take you back to that electrical wiring analogy. Your nervous system communicates with your leg muscles through junctions called neuromuscular junctions. These are connection points where a nerve signal tells a muscle fiber to fire. Every time you take a step, dozens of these junctions fire in precise coordination. Lift, swing, plant, stabilize. It is an incredibly complex symphony of electrical signals happening in milliseconds. Magnesium is essential for these junctions to work properly. It helps regulate the electrical charge at each junction point. Without enough of it, the signals become erratic. Some fibers fire too early, some fire too late, some do not fire at all. The result is that your balance feels off, your legs feel clumsy, you stumble more easily, you feel less sure-footed, not necessarily because your muscles are weak, but because the wiring controlling them is unreliable. This is why magnesium deficiency is so closely linked to falls in older adults. It is not just about muscle strength, it is about neuromuscular coordination, the precise timing that keeps you upright and stable. Now you might wonder, why not just take a magnesium supplement? You can, but there is a reason I recommend food-based magnesium first. When magnesium comes packaged inside a whole food like pumpkin seeds, it is often absorbed more gradually and more comfortably by your digestive system. Supplement pills can deliver a concentrated dose all at once, and your body may excrete a good portion of it because it cannot absorb that much at one time. Food-based magnesium drip feeds it into your system over hours, which is often easier for the body to handle. But pumpkin seeds bring more than just magnesium. They also provide zinc, which is critical for immune function and tissue repair, and a meaningful amount of plant-based protein. And here is an additional benefit. Magnesium can also support insulin sensitivity. It helps those cell gates I talked about earlier open more effectively. So pumpkin seeds are not just helping with problem 4. They may also be contributing to problem 2. How do you use them? 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. Afternoon or evening is ideal. Magnesium has a natural calming effect on the nervous system, so it may also support better sleep. Chew them thoroughly. This helps break open the cell walls and release the minerals more effectively. You can sprinkle them on salads, on yogurt, or eat them on their own as a simple snack. Combine them with a source of healthy fat, like a few pieces of avocado or a drizzle of olive oil to further enhance mineral absorption. 5. Food is whole eggs. These address a problem I have not fully explained yet, but one that ties everything together. Your body's declining ability to build new muscle after 60. There is a phenomenon in aging science called anabolic resistance. Here is what it means. When you eat protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids and sends a signal to your muscles: new building materials have arrived. Start repairing, start rebuilding. In a younger body, that signal is loud and clear. Muscles respond immediately, but after 60, the signal often gets weaker. Your muscles become harder to hear. You can eat the same protein you have always eaten, but your muscles do not respond as strongly. The repair order gets lost, the rebuilding slows, and gradually your muscles, especially the large, fast twitch fibers in your legs, begin to deteriorate. Think of it like a construction crew waiting inside a building for a delivery notification. The delivery truck arrives. The materials are sitting on the loading dock, but the notification system is broken. The crew never gets the message, so they sit idle while the building slowly crumbles. This is where eggs become extraordinary. Eggs contain one of the highest natural concentrations of an amino acid called leucine, and leucine is special. It is not just a building block for muscle, it is the master switch. Leucine activates a pathway in your cells called mTOR, the primary signaling pathway that controls muscle protein synthesis. It is the notification system. When you eat eggs, the leucine hits your bloodstream and essentially tells your muscle cells materials have arrived. Start building now. It cuts through anabolic resistance. It helps override age-related deafness. It pushes the repair process to activate, and eggs provide more than just leucine. Whole eggs, and I do mean whole eggs, including the yolk, contain vitamin D, which supports muscle fiber contractile strength, choline, which supports the nervous system, signals controlling your muscles, and B12, which supports energy production in muscle cells. The phospholipids in the yolk may also improve the absorption and effectiveness of the other amino acids in the egg. Studies comparing whole eggs to egg whites have found that whole eggs can stimulate greater muscle protein synthesis, not just because of the extra calories, but because of the synergistic nutrients in the yolk working together. So the yolk is not something to fear automatically. In this context, it is an important part of the package. How do you use them? 2 whole eggs in the morning, ideally within 60 to 90 minutes of waking. This timing matters because your muscles are often more receptive to protein signaling after the overnight fasting period. Your mTOR pathway is primed and waiting. Giving it leucine first thing can amplify the response. Then pair your eggs with movement later in the day, even a 20-minute walk. That is where nutrition and movement work together. Leucine helps activate the muscle-building signal, and physical activity gives your body a reason to use it. One thing to avoid: do not pair your eggs with highly refined carbohydrates like white toast and sugary cereals too often. These foods can spike insulin sharply and may interfere with the stable signaling environment you are trying to create. 6. Food is dark leafy greens, spinach, arugula, kale, Swiss chard. These serve as the amplifier for everything else on this list. Leafy greens are the second major dietary source of nitrates, just like beets, so they further boost your nitric oxide production and improve blood flow to your legs. But they also do something that beets alone cannot fully accomplish. Leafy greens are extraordinarily mineral dense. They provide additional magnesium, which compounds the effect of the pumpkin seeds. They provide potassium, which works alongside magnesium to regulate muscle contraction. They provide calcium in a naturally balanced ratio. They also provide folate, which supports healthy nerve signaling. Think of leafy greens as the multi-tool of this entire protocol. They do not have one dramatic effect. They support every system we have talked about. A little more nitric oxide, a little more magnesium, a little more potassium, a little more anti-inflammatory protection from their polyphenol content. Each contribution is modest on its own, but combined with the other 5 foods, they help fill in the remaining gaps. There is also emerging research showing that the nitrates in leafy greens may improve neuromuscular efficiency, the speed and smoothness of communication between your brain and your leg muscles. This can translate into better coordination, smoother walking, and improved reflexes. When your legs feel more connected to your brain, everything about movement feels easier and more confident. How do you use them? A generous serving daily. That could be a large handful of raw greens in a salad or a cup of cooked greens alongside a meal. Combine them with your olive oil. The fat improves absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins in the greens, and you get the anti-inflammatory benefit of the oleocanthal at the same time. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon as well. The vitamin C may help support nitrate conversion to nitric oxide, just as it does with beets. Arugula, by the way, is one of the highest nitrate-containing leafy greens, even higher than spinach. If you can find it and enjoy the taste, make it a regular part of your rotation. Now let me show you how to combine all 6 foods into a simple daily routine, because strategy matters as much as the foods themselves. Morning. Within 60 to 90 minutes of waking, eat 2 whole eggs prepared however you prefer. Pair them with a handful of leafy greens, sautéed spinach, fresh arugula, whatever you enjoy. Drizzle everything with a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. This combination delivers leucine to activate muscle repair, oleocanthal for anti-inflammatory support, nitrates for blood flow, and minerals for nerve signaling, all in one meal. Midday, with or after lunch, have half a cup of cooked beets or a small glass of unsweetened beet juice. This is your circulation boost, timed before your most active hours. If you walk, garden, or exercise in the afternoon, the beets may help prime your blood vessels to deliver more oxygen during movement. Afternoon snack. A small handful of berries, blueberries, strawberries, whatever you have, with 1 to 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds. The berries help support insulin sensitivity in your muscles. The pumpkin seeds deliver magnesium and zinc together. They help your muscle cells absorb nutrients and support cleaner neuromuscular signaling. Evening. If you have not already had greens, add another serving with dinner alongside your olive oil. This helps bookend your day with nitric oxide support and anti-inflammatory protection. That's it. No complicated meal plans, no expensive supplements, no drastic changes. Just 6 foods distributed across your day, each one targeting a different breakdown that may be weakening your legs. Now let me set honest expectations, because I never want to promise something that is not real. In week 1, you probably will not notice dramatic leg strength changes, but many people report feeling more energetic in general, warmer feet and hands that may be improved circulation beginning, fewer nighttime leg cramps that may be the magnesium starting to help, better sleep, also possibly the magnesium. In weeks 2 to 3 circulation improvements may become more noticeable. Your legs may feel lighter when walking with less of that heavy dragging sensation. Stairs may feel slightly easier, not because your muscles have suddenly grown, but because they may finally be receiving more oxygen. In weeks 4 to 6, muscle repair signaling may now be more consistently activated. You may notice improved balance and fewer moments of instability. Your legs may feel more connected, as if the signals between your brain and your muscles are becoming crisper. If you are walking regularly, you may find that you can go longer before fatigue sets in. By months, 2 to 3 cumulative change may start to become visible. Your legs may look slightly more toned. Thigh muscles that had softened may feel firmer. Standing up from a chair may feel noticeably easier. Overall confidence in your legs on stairs, on uneven surfaces, getting in and out of cars may improve. The key is consistency. These foods work through daily sustained metabolic support. One serving of beets on a random Tuesday will not change your life. But beets, berries, olive oil, pumpkin seeds, eggs and leafy greens used consistently over time may genuinely change how your legs feel and function. A few important safety notes before I let you go. If you are on blood pressure medication, beets and leafy greens may naturally lower blood pressure through nitric oxide. That is usually a good thing, but combined with medication, it could lower it too much. Talk to your doctor so they can monitor and adjust if needed. If you are on blood thinners, leafy greens are high in vitamin K, which can interact with medications like warfarin. Do not avoid them entirely, but keep your intake consistent from day to day so your medication can be dosed properly. Your doctor needs to know. If you are diabetic, berries and beets do contain natural sugars. In the amounts I have recommended, they are usually modest and often manageable, but monitor your blood sugar and discuss any changes with your healthcare provider. And if you have kidney issues, pumpkin seeds are high in potassium and phosphorus, which may need to be limited. Always check with your doctor if you have kidney disease. These foods are powerful. That is exactly why they can help. But power requires respect, and that means keeping your doctor informed. I want to leave you with something that matters more than any single food on this list. Your legs are not giving up on you. They are waiting for you to give them what they need. Every day your muscles are trying to repair. Your blood vessels are trying to deliver. Your nerves are trying to fire. The systems are still there. They have not shut down. They have just been starved of circulation of nutrients and of the right signals at the right time. If this video helped you see your leg strength in a new way, subscribe to Senior Meal Coach for simple, practical health tips made for adults over 60. And if you know someone who struggles with weak legs, please like this video and share it with them. It could truly help.